With everything recorded, we can now move on to step number 5, which is the mixing and editing. Up the top, we have all the different editing tools, which correlate to numbers 1 through 8 on your keyboard. Obviously, you can just click them individually. The main arrow tool allows us to select all of our different tracks. We can choose different parts of the individual tracks. We can then delete them, move them, drag them to wherever we need them to go. All of your basic functions will be done through this. Next to that, we've got our splitter tool, which is the other most commonly used tool, and I always have that as my secondary or my alternative tool. Just need to collect this, which is my primary, and then I can choose it here for my secondary. But next to these, we've got an eraser, painter, mute, bend, and this is a listening tool. We can use this to go back through each of the tracks that we've recorded. Whichever one that I click becomes soloed, so everything else is now muted, and then this will play whatever we've recorded from that track from wherever I've selected. So there's our drums, pretty basic. Improvised bass guitar line that finishes with just the G that fades out. Acoustic guitar, G major 7, same with the piano. Yep, just playing around with that. Higher G major 7 with reverb and the electric guitar. I actually really like that. And then lead guitar with the feedback of the amplifier, because I sat here and the pickups obviously attracted all the random noises. Moving back to our primary tool, where we can also have our secondary tool just by holding down Command, I'm going to look at splitting all the beginnings of the tracks. The reason that you want to do this is first with the microphone. The mic has picked up all of this noise that I don't want, and then with stuff like an amplifier, you've got all of your feedback that, again, you don't want that in your sound as well. So what I'm going to do is I hover my mouse to the top of the timeline, use my scroll wheel to zoom in and out. I can then go to the beginning of the first sound wave of my drum track. Then all I need to do is I can choose this by itself or just hold down Command, because I've got this as my secondary tool. Select that, just click it there, and now we've got this track split into 2. I'm going to do that again on every other track. I also want to do it at the beginning of the count-in that we've got, and then I can delete everything else. All this is just taking up space and sounds bad. With that removed, everything should be a lot nicer, a lot cleaner. We'll do that to the ends in a second. What I'd like to do is first select everything and drag it to the beginning so that we don't have that dead space. And I'll also select this, bring it to the bottom, which creates its own track, rename it to Count In, bring it back up to the top, and then just like I did with the electric guitar track when we first brought it in, I want to just get rid of it, so I'll mute it first, and then I can just hide it. So we've still got the count in if we need it, but we've got a much more organized workspace. Just like we've done here, I also want to clip the ends of each of the tracks because same exact reason, amp feedback, and then the microphone's picking up a bunch of stuff. What I'm actually thinking is I want the drums, the final crash for the drums, and then this electric guitar because it's got the reverb. I want them to ring out a little bit longer than every other track. So what we'll do is we'll clip everything except for the drums and the electric guitar at the beginning of bar number 7, and then do a fade for the entirety of the 6th bar. So hold down Command, bring out my splitter tool, get rid of the end of the bass, acoustic, the piano, and then the lead guitar. Then I can delete all of these, and I may as well just have these match up. So now that's cleaner, and we won't hear a bunch of the random noise from the microphone and the amplifiers, but obviously everything just cuts away randomly. So what I can do is we'll first select just these two. This triangle here in the corner is our fade, and I can just grab that and drag it to wherever I want it to begin. I can make it linear, non-linear with the curve, whatever I'd like. I might keep them all as linear so they can all be pretty natural progression. Obviously these still cut out, so what I can do is select everything, hold down shift and deselect the drums and the electric guitar. And now just like we did with these tracks, we can grab the fade and drag that to just after the beginning of that last note. And we may as well have that linear as well. Let's listen to this. Should be a little bit cleaner. That's alright. It's a lot more natural. I kind of like that. It's okay. And what we're left with now is basically completely edited tracks. We will be adding on some reverb, probably just to the acoustic guitar. We'll do that later so that we can start working on the mixing. Before we start working on the levels and everything here in the mixing tab, I first want to make sure that each of the different tracks are all consistent in terms of the volume or the level. We're going to use this little bit here in the mixing tab. It's sort of our master control. And if I solo the drums as they are, I might increase the volume on them a little bit. There we go. That red there shows that we've peaked or we've clipped the sound, which means that the track is too loud. All we have to do is drag this little box here, basically in the middle of the track, grab that, drag it down, which shrinks the size of the sound waves. And now we'll play it again. This is where I had it just before. All completely fine. The highest that we go is probably -6, and if I switch to the bass guitar, I want to see what the highest is there. It's 12, 9, That is telling me that the drums are a little bit too loud, or the bass is too quiet, because the highest value here was around about -9, and then the highest one for the drums was -6. So all I need to do is grab this, drag it down just a little bit, possibly 3.8, and then switch back to the drums. That's a little bit closer. We could bring it down just a little bit more. So first make sure that we aren't clipping the sound. There's no red showing up on our master volume. First make sure that there's no red indicating any clipping of the track, and then make sure that they all have a similar high. We know the drums and the bass is roughly about -10, and that's about -11, so they're all pretty similar in volume. Once I've done that to each of the individual tracks, I'll then do it again for everything and make sure that it isn't peaking the whole song. The only problem that we have currently is that the tracks seem to be fighting each other. When it comes to mixing, there's two things that you should be focusing on. First is making sure that there is nothing that is taking over the entire mix. So if my bass guitar is too big and powerful, it might be diminishing everything else. And vice versa, if you've got something that's a little bit too quiet, you won't be able to hear it. So lift it up or bring things down, make them a little bit more even. And one thing that really helps, and that I think is really important, is make sure that you can pick out each of the individual instruments. So I can listen to everything and go, okay, that's the drum line, there's the bass, then we've got the electric guitars doing this, and you can kind of pick out what everything is playing. So I'll be thinking about this the entire time that I'm doing my mixing. I'm going to start by matching the drums and the bass. So I'm going to solo both of those. So all I've done is very slightly increase the volume on the drums, and I've kept the level the same for the bass guitar. So if we add in the piano, we'll do the exact same thing. I've just dropped the piano a little bit because it seems to be taking over everything else. That's okay, move on to the electric guitar. I think that's alright. Usually I'd be using my headphones, but because Apple, I can't actually record any desktop audio into OBS, and there's no good reason why it shouldn't allow it. They just don't. Now what I'm thinking is, just for the sake of the video, I'm going to add 2 more tracks. I'm going to call them acoustic guitar L and then R for left and right. I'm going to copy, so Command or Control C, the acoustic guitar track. Then I'm going to zoom in real close and make sure that the cursor is right at the beginning. Then I select this, Command or Control V, select the next one, Command Control V. And now if I get rid of everything else, we've got 3 identical guitar tracks. And what I want to do is grab this one, mute it, and actually remove it from our main list, just like we did before. Now we've got our guitar left, which we need to pan hard left here. Just drag that across, same over here, but hard right. Now I've got one guitar all the way over here, one guitar all the way over here. If we select insert and type in reverb, I can bring in some effects, and I might just choose a preset, or is it a cathedral? We'll do that. Cathedral, we'll go large hall. Let's listen to this without first. And then with. That's alright. All I need to do to copy that over is grab that and drag it over to the other track. And now we've got the same exact thing for both of the acoustic guitars. Both panned in each ear. That's going to mean that they have now doubled, so we'll need to bring those down a little bit. And I can select them both at the same time just using Shift. Drop a little bit. I want that to be more background noise. So we've got our main instruments here, the drums, bass, piano, and the reverbed electric guitar. That. And the acoustic guitars sort of are more like an effect rather than a proper instrument. They're just supposed to be a little bit further around in the background, supposed to just kind of cover the top of everything. Sounds a little bit boring. It's going to add some of its own reverb. Might try a parking garage. That's actually really cool. I like that a lot. Again, I'm not using my headphones, so it's not going to be perfect, but it sounds pretty good. Especially considering that this was all improvised, I'm actually really quite pleased with this song. All that we've got left to do is export it. This is what you're looking for in the timeline. It's usually at the very beginning. You can see it right there. Just need to grab it and drag that to the end. And then I've got this one which we can drag to the beginning of the song. Everything that is a part of this highlighted section is what will be exported. All you need to do is Command E or go back up to the top menu, song like we were looking at before, export mix down, and there we go. Tween loop needs to be selected. I've got my title. Choose where you want to save everything and click OK, and here we go. There is our mixdown. It is in a wave form. So if you want to upload this to YouTube Music or something like that, you will need to convert it to MP3. But we can listen to it. I can use it in all of my videos. Works fine as it is. So made the project to step number 1. Step number 2 was the recording and playback devices plus the input. Step number 3 was adding the tracks and setting up everything to record. Step 4 was recording the instruments. Step 5 was editing and mixing. I think that covers pretty much everything for Studio 16 DAW. It's clean, it's organized, it's simple to use. I hope everything has made sense. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. Like I said before, I will be making a video on how to record all the different instruments. So everything that we did in part number 4, we will do again, but as its own separate video. So look out for that video if you're interested. Again, if you've got any questions, please let me know. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.